Okay, so anyways, guys, we're gonna review my tips for round 10, and I actually did pretty well once again, 6 out of 9, which isn't bad. Kind of wish I did a little better, but I'm cool with it. But yeah, Lions a huge win over Richmond, and that was also a pretty good win for them. I thought it would be a closer game, but yeah, the Tigers, they've just been like a really they've been pretty disappointing as of late. Definitely not a very good start for them. Then the Blues, they get a big win over Hawthorn, a huge win over a pretty bad side. Like honestly, it wasn't even surprising overall. Then Geelong getting a big win over Gold Coast, 34-point win against Gold Coast. Definitely a really interesting win for them overall. The Cats have definitely been looking like a side that probably could make it to the grand final. Honestly, then probably the biggest upset win of the round was the Crows beating the D's with Tex Walker with the incredible siren after the goal. The incredible game-winning goal after the siren. Then the Dogs, they're now back on top of the ladder with a huge win over St. Kilda, a 111-point win for them. Then two back-to-back losses. The Swans losing to Frio. Such a disappointing loss. It's just so disappointing, and it also stings a lot, honestly. But yeah, still just gotta hope for the best. Honestly, you just gotta hope for the best. Honestly, I mean, we have started this way numerous times, even in seasons where we've been really successful. I mean, look at '05. We started 5-5, and everyone doubted us after round 10, and then we eventually got that back underway. But yeah, just gotta hope for the best. Changes probably can be implemented. Definitely a lot to, definitely a lot to be confident about. We just gotta look forward. Just look onwards. That's all. But yeah, and then GWS with a huge win over West Coast as the Eagles continue to struggle on the road. But yeah, the Giants with a needed win, and that gets them into the 8, which also I find to be really surprising because of course the Giants are projected to be, some people projected them to be a bottom 4 side, and even I did too. I thought the massive losses of like Jazz and other key players would be massive for them, but no, they've actually hung on pretty well, and I gotta give them credit. But yeah, and then Port with a huge win over Collingwood, a 1-point win. The Pies, both teams didn't play their best, Port with a big win there. Definitely a must-win game for them. And then finally, Essendon getting a huge win over North Melbourne. A massive win for the Dons. It's their biggest win this season. Probably will be their biggest win this season. But yeah, got the job done very well for themselves, and yeah. So yeah, Dogs first in the ladder, D second, Cats third, Lions fourth, Power fifth, Swans sixth. Thank you, Giants. Eagles seventh, and then the Giants eighth. Then Richmond in ninth. Cue the Ninthman memes. Frio 10th, Carlton 11th, Crows 12th, Saints 13th, Dons 14th, Suns 15th, Pie 16th, Hawks 17th, and North Melbourne in 18th. The Roos just absolutely just continuing to be shit. But yeah. And now, time for round 11. So yeah. Dogs versus D's. This is definitely going to be one hell of an interesting game. Definitely is going to be one hell of an interesting game at Marvel Stadium. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting game. It's definitely 50-50 potentially. But with how both teams have handled their business, fairly well, I'm actually gonna go with the. I'm actually gonna go with the dogs on this one. It's definitely gonna be a really interesting game, but I just think the dogs are the better side right now. I just think the dogs are the better side than the D's right now, in my opinion. Honestly, but yeah. So I'm gonna go Western Bulldogs to win by 13 points and remain at the top of the ladder. The dogs have just been a really dominant side this year. Like they got like their credit. They deserve some credit. They've just been a really strong side. But yeah. Then we got the other Friday match, Collingwood versus Geelong. The Pies almost did get a huge win over Port tonight, but it wasn't enough. But I think Geelong, I'm pretty confident about this one. I got the Cats winning. Definitely a game they could easily win, honestly. I apologize if I'm like blocking my hand with the camera, but yeah. Pretty confident on this one. I think the Cats will get a pretty solid win here against the Pies, especially with how the Pies have relatively done this season. But yeah. Then Lions versus Giants. GWS coming off a huge win over West Coast at home. But in my opinion, even with how good the Giants have been as of late, I just think the Lions are too good. Just Brisbane, they've just been a very dominant side this year, and I honestly respect them a lot. It would be cool to see them win a flag. In my opinion, it would be cool to see them winning a. It would be interesting to see them win another flag for the first time since '03. They definitely have a pretty good shot at potentially making the grand final this year. I feel like this could be their year, honestly. But yeah, if they get the job done, they could definitely make a good shot for potentially being premiers this season. The Lions have just been a very solid side overall. But yeah, the first of Saturday's games at the Gabba, I'm pretty confident about this one. I got the Lions winning fairly well against the Giants. The Giants will put up a good fight, but I just think Brisbane's the better side, like I said before. But yeah. St. Kilda versus North Melbourne. Oh my god. Both of these sides have been really bad as of late. The Saints, they just got absolutely clobbered. They've lost two games this year by over 100 points, and they're just looking like a rag doll right now. Then the Roos continuing to look like a joke. This one's going to be a really interesting game, but I am certainly confident about the Saints winning this one. I think they'll win by at least 20 plus around there. But even with that, I think the Saints will get the job done nonetheless. Then we got Gold Coast playing at home. I believe at Metricon. Well, no, they're playing at TIO Stadium. And then they're facing the Hawks. The Suns, they're definitely a team that's on the up. They've had a few good wins here and there. Even, yes, the win against the Swans, obviously. Even if we had no Hickey or Rampy. But yeah. Still relatively confident about the Suns winning this game. They're a really good young side. And I think they should get the job done. Maybe win by 30. Then the Eagles facing the Dons. Playing at home at Optus. Definitely is going to be a really interesting game coming up. But in my opinion, I'm really confident about the Eagles winning. They've been a really good side at home. They've just been a really damn good side at home. Even with that, I think Essendon, they'll play a really good game. They could maybe give the Eagles a challenge. But still, West Coast, they have just been a really dominant side at home. This one could either depend. It could be either 6 points or even 56 points with how dominant the Eagles have been at home. But yeah. Then we got Richmond struggling, having a really bad start, 5-5 so far to the season. They're facing the Crows. Crows coming off a huge win against the D's. But even with that, I still think the Tigers will get a big win here. They have started I think they could still have a shot at making finals. I mean, there have been seasons where they have had struggling starts and then they finally find their way, overcome their, challenges and all that. But yeah. But who knows? Maybe Richmond do fall off this season. Maybe they go full 2015 Cats. But we'll see what happens. But that's the last of Saturday's matches. And now on to Sunday's matches. 2 games on Sunday. It is the Swans at the SCG facing Carlton. Honestly, I am really feeling confident about this one, even with definitely the Frio loss. It's definitely a game to look onwards upon. It's just a game that the Frio game definitely is one to it's definitely gonna be a game for us to learn from. Just help us overcome the struggles we've had and all that. Just overcome the issues we've had, which is prominently, having trouble taking marks. Just, we can't get over pressure. We just can't really, the pressure the pressure Frio gave just really pretty much really gave us that really bad third quarter. Just the pressure from Frio just really got to us, and it ended up making us shoot ourselves in the foot in the third quarter. That third quarter was just awful. But yeah. Nonetheless, the Frio game definitely is a game that we could definitely look forward upon. Just definitely is a game that we can, they'll help us improve, most likely. Look at how we've handled, poor starts that we've usually had over the years. Usually we actually have started 5-5. We've started the season 5-5 or something like that, and we end up making finals still. But yeah, hopefully, what we've done historically will pay off, and hopefully we can make some good adjustments. But yeah, still the Frio game still stings a bit, but I'm pretty confident about us beating Carlton, honestly. Especially at home. We've definitely been looking like a better side at the SCG than on the road as of late, to be honest. We've only been really good at, the only venues we've actually been really good at were pretty much the GABA and the MCG. And then after that, I think the 4 wins we've had, yeah. I think it's I'm not sure if we, Pies at SCG, Pies SCG, Essendon was at SCG, Geelong at it. Yeah, the other 4 wins we've gotten were at home, and we're at SCG, and relatively I'm confident about us winning at SCG. We've only had 1 loss there so far this season. That was, of course, against GWS. It seems like we've been a better side at in Sydney than we have been on the road as of late. But yeah, nonetheless, should get the job done against Carlton. It might be a close game. It might Carlton could definitely give us a good challenge, maybe. But I think we'll hold up at the end. Buddy Franklin hopefully has another dominant game. I just really want us to win a game where Buddy Franklin just dominates across the board. It seems like every game where he's scoring 5+ goals, we always lose. It's just we just lose in a heartbreaking way. But yeah, nonetheless, just gotta take our losses, just take them as motivation. Just help us make adjustments and just make changes for the better. But yeah. But nonetheless, Nick Blakey, he probably needs to be on the VFL side for a couple of weeks. Seriously, Logan McDonald, I'm happy for him. He's starting to find his form again. Hopefully Logan McDonald, he comes back onto the main side pretty soon. Probably this round, but we'll see. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm confident about the Swans winning against Carlton. It might be a nail biter again, but still relatively confident with how we've handled close games at home. But yeah. And then finally, Port versus Frio. The Power coming off a massively close game against Collingwood, but nonetheless, with how dominant Port have been at home, I am relatively confident about them winning. And yeah, so that's my tips for round 11 of the AFL. This video might noticeably be, shorter than usual, but yeah. And I will make some quick predictions on Squiggle too. I apologize for the shrunken. I apologize for the slightly shrunken like screen here, but yeah. So dogs, I believe I had them winning by. Shoot, I just already got the freaking. Yeah. So yeah, really confident about the Dogs getting a big win here. It'll be a close game, but I just think the Dogs are the better side right now. Got them winning by So I got the Dogs beating the D's by 13 points. Collingwood versus Geelong should be a really interesting game, but I just think at the end the Cats are just going to be too good. Maybe winning by 26 points. I mean, the Pies, they had a good showing against Port, but I just think Geelong are going to be too good for them. Brisbane versus GWS, I think the Giants will put up a good fight too, but I just think, once again, Brisbane are the better side. I got them winning by 23 points. Then St. Kilda versus North. Definitely is a really interesting game, but I'm pretty confident about the Saints getting this. It should be their biggest win of the season, 28-point win for St. Kilda. Then Gold Coast versus Hawthorn. Definitely is going to be a really interesting game, but I do think Gold Coast will get a fairly good win, probably a 31-point win for Gold Coast. Then West Coast versus Essendon. I'm actually going to be really confident here about the Eagles. I think they should make probably a 24-point win for West Coast. Richmond versus Adelaide, definitely going to be a really interesting game here too, but yeah. I think the Tigers will play. It'll be a close game, but I just think the Tigers might be too good at the end. 13-point win for Richmond. Then Sydney versus Carlton. This might be a nail-biter here, but I got us winning by 9 points. I actually got us winning by 9 points. It's either going to go two ways. Either it's going to be a nail-biter, like the games against Essendon and, basically all the close games we've had this year. Essendon, Geelong, GWS, and Freo, all those were nail-biters. But I just think we could probably hang on at the end. Blues could give us a good challenge, though. But we'll see what happens. And then Port versus Freo. Pretty confident about this. Could definitely be a close game here, too. But I just think Port will just get the job done at the end. But, yeah. So, projected ladder. Dogs 10-1. Melbourne falling to 9-2. With back-to-back losses projected. Geelong 8-3, Brisbane 4th at 8-3, Port 8-3. Then the Swans remaining in 6th at 7-4, West Coast remaining in 7th at 7-4, and then the Tigers just barely hanging on at 6-5 in 8th. GWS falls to 9th with 5-6. Freo falls to 10th at 5-6. St. Kilda falls to 5-6. St. Kilda actually rises to 11th at 5-6. Then Essendon, most of the teams there actually remain in their same spots. I think, Freo actually rises, I'm not sure. Well, I believe Freo is 10th right now, if I'm correct, but I might be wrong. But, yeah. So, Freo, relatively confident about them. St. Kilda rises to 11th. Essendon around 12, 4-7. Then Carlton falls to 4-7. Gold Coast falls to 4-7. Adelaide 15th at 4-7. Then the Pies at 2-9 and 16th. Then Hawthorn 2-9 and 17th, and finally the Roos at 1-10. But yeah, that's my tips for this round. I am the AFL Yank, signing out. Car in the Swannies.